This is the Red All Over reaction show to yesterday's fantastic 2-1 win against Bolton Wanderers. Finally back to winning ways, which is great to see. So we're going to reflect on yesterday's game and then we're also going to look forward to Peterborough United. Let's get stuck into it. So, Tracy, you made the fairly short journey over to Tough Sheet Stadium, YouTube censorship, and that was Sheet, I've just said. And not to be confused what Stephen Humphries did put on Twitter after yesterday's game. A little bit of an all right first half, not great, not spectacular, but second half, much more what we want to see from a Barnsley side, especially with the aspirations we've got as well this season, trying to get into the top six. And Bolton, not really the Bolton of last season as well. They seem to be struggling in somewhat of a similar situation to us, but I think in that second half really took over and probably were good value for the 3 points.
Yeah, definitely a short journey, but foggy, very foggy it was. Certainly on top. In fact, no, actually, in Saddleworth, we were higher than the fog, so it was really clear. But anyway, I'm not into the weather forecast.
I spit a motorway in England.
I mean, we just look at us, font of knowledge. Yeah, we're clear up there. But anyway, but it was not clear in Bolton. And it certainly weren't clear for them because they certainly fogged up in second half. I mean, it is Christmas. I'm just rolling with it. Yeah. No, Andy's face is telling me no.
Good festive fun.
Yeah. So first half I thought was pretty even. We didn't play great, but they didn't play great. And I was actually thinking this is pretty much two quite poor sides, I think, especially after the last couple of seasons where you're thinking Barnsley, Bolton, obviously playoffs. And I'm thinking there's not a chance that either of these sides are going to get anywhere near the playoffs because I don't think either of us were playing particularly well. Adam Phillips was nearly the very good Father Christmas and nearly gave them the best gift because he passed it to Aaron Collins. He made it a terrible pass, he acknowledged it. And how he missed that, I do not know. It was one of the biggest sitters I've seen for a while. And we saw John Russell miss one in the second half, but I think that was much worse. So, yeah, the first half, there was not much to it, really. Then they scored from it was poor, but we were all camped in our own half. McCarthy got the ball. He was clearly looking to pass it to someone. Maybe he should have just cleared it with hindsight. He tried to. Santos went straight through Waters and came back and he finished it. Again, Killip could have done better, I'm not sure. I've not seen it back. He looked to get an hand to it, then he pushed it into the corner. And I couldn't comment whether he should have done better or not. But
as a former member at GK Union,
definitely not.
Yeah. Best he could do with that.
But yeah, it was again another soft goal, and you're thinking, here we go. And there was nothing in it really. I didn't think there was much in it the first half. And then, second half, we were much better, far better. Went for it, pressed them, did everything that we did in the first half, worked a lot harder, seemed to work a lot harder, be a lot more confident with the ball. And, yeah, I mean, it was the subs made a difference, although the majority of the crowd certainly wouldn't have taken off the players that he did and wouldn't have left on the players that he left on because around us there was a lot of negativity surrounding Phillips, DKD who had not done much, etc. And that went on to prove that they were the scorers. So, and Phillips obviously assisted DKD, who, to be fair, has finished that very, very well. When he cuts inside, you do know that from what we've seen him, the minute he can get inside onto his right foot, and then he megged their player even better and put it into the corner. And to be honest, once we equalised, because we started off the second half, and I think I said in the first 7 minutes of the second half, we hit the post with Luca, which was unlucky. We had two corners, and then John Russell blasted over. It was a good chance. I mean, he's not prolific, is he? But it was a good chance and he should have done better. And, and then you're thinking, we need to score because if we don't score now. And then we kept going. And as soon as we scored, we were all sort of thinking, there's only one winner here. And then the free kick was, if Conor Hourihane is set pieces coach, which apparently he is, well, hat off to him because that was one of the best free kicks we've taken. And Corey O'Keefe, who has, as Andy knows, has a real problem beating the first man. Didn't even have to beat a first man because they weren't a first man there. So he just slotted it across to Adam Phillips, who, to be fair, put that away very, very well. Great finish. And he sort of came and celebrated in front of our fans, making his feelings known. I think that he was aware of the negativity that he'd been receiving, I think, looking at how he celebrated and let us know that his name was Phillips. So, So yeah, and from then I was thinking we could go on and get 3. But yeah, great second half, great performance, and we only win away.
Yeah, that is true. Al, a lot to impact there from what Tracy said, but one of the key things is obviously the subs. A lot of people, as Tracy said there at the game, sort of didn't agree with the subs, and DKD and Phillips should have been 2 to come off. Look at Twitter as well; that sort of reflected the same sentiment. But Darryl Clark's been proved right of the 2 players that everyone else would have brought off have gone on to win the game. And Kelechi as well sort of set up that free kick as well. So sort of vindicated in the changes that Darryl Clark made. Al, you're on mute. You just unmute yourself and you'll be sorted.
Now leave it as it is, Al.
100%, Josh. I wasn't, but 100%, yeah. Unbelievable result. Who would have thought that first time since 1997 in Premiership that we beat them on their patch? That's 27 years. So it's been a long time coming to beat Bolton Wanderers on their own turf. And I thought we should have started with a 1-0. Because to be honest, I didn't see much wrong with that goal what McCarthy scored from that corner. We see it week in, week out at Oakwell, and referee, he never pulls anything up. We look for it, but we don't get anything. So I'm sorry, Mr. Kirk, stick to Star Trek. But so
Have you been working on that all day, Al?
oh, I'm practicing. Don't worry about it.
Try not to.
Poor goal to concede. I'll give us that. We got ball and we get it straight to them and played through us. And then second half we come out and I couldn't believe it. Did we have 2 corners straight in first minute at second half or whatever? We pushed them back. And I think it's one of the worst Bolton sides I've actually seen, to be honest. We could have had more goals than the 2 that we actually scored. But the first goal came from a free kick in our half, and it took 13 passes to play through them, which I thought was incredible. We keep saying we can't play top floor and everything. And that sublime ball from Phillips for DKD. And as Andy says, he always likes to cut in, drop his shoulder, far corner, incredible. And fans, what I saw as well on Sky Plus Sports app, went mental. And before that, I'd had a look. We'd gone down to 11th in play. And I'm thinking, we're on free fall here. But then up comes a free kick, 89th minute. What can you say? They set up, and I've looked at it again, and Kelechi just, how can I put it? A slide rule pass between 2 Bolton players, straight through Keith Toronto, then straight back to Phillips, and Phillips, no hesitation. What a shot that was to go into top left-hand corner, and game over. I didn't see it coming, and I don't think many other Reds fans saw it coming. But that second half performance, I think, is one of the better second half performances I've seen this season.
They were incredibly poor, though, weren't they? I'm not to get anything from our second half performance, but they were woeful.
Not the best, either, Tracy. And I can understand why the fan zone and Colin and Chris are unhappy, and a lot of their fan base. In fact, Ben went to Vicky and sent me a video about their fans after the game were fighting each other. That's how much it's affecting them. But hey, that's Stanek Mill's side, isn't it, Andy?
Always, Al. Always. What can you do?
It's interesting to see what's going on at Bolton, because I think, is it Sharon that's the chairman or CEO there,
Yeah.
sort of put a statement out a few weeks ago backing Ian Everton, saying they still got this season, almost like regardless of results as well. So interesting to see what's going on at Bolton, because it almost seems as though Ian Everton City's ceiling with them, and it seems like last year was their chance to go up because it wasn't a difficult league as such, and they'd beaten. You'd think Oxford in that final were the easiest of the 14 to play against in that playoff. So
yeah, I was speaking to some Bolton fans on the way out, walking back to the car, and they were saying that Dion Charlton is going as well in January because he's out of favour and not happy. I mean, I didn't even start, did he? But when you think, there's something not right there.
Yeah, it does seem.
It's not started for a few games either.
That's strange when he's about a 20-goal a season striker, isn't it? It's weird.
Yeah, consistently in League One, isn't it? I mean, yeah,
weird.
Odd. Oh well.
Like Johnson Clark Harris when he just fell out of favour at Peterborough because he wouldn't sign new contracts, and it's just strange old game. Andy, how did you feel about yesterday? Because sort of, I think as we spoke a few weeks ago of the December period being a difficult month with sides that we have to play of Wrexham, Birmingham, Bolton, Peterborough still coming up. We
Leighton
won,
Orient.
yeah, the game that we thought we might have won.
No need, Tracy.
It seems as though we're a little bit better when we play the better sides or the sides you expect to
Well,
be
apart from losing to
difficult.
Birmingham and Wrexham, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but both of them games though, Birmingham were fine until it went down to 10 men, and Wrexham were a fairly even affair, and it took until
They were lucky, weren't they?
93rd,
They were lucky.
94th minute. It seems as though when we're playing them sides were a bit better because they're going to come out and attack a little bit as well. It's the sides that sit in and defend that we're not very good against.
I think yesterday we got exactly what we deserved. I'm with Alan. That Conor McCarthy's goal. I don't know. I'm not going to go on all show about referees, but that were a. I think that referee must have some previous with Conor McCarthy because I'm telling you, there's no way on God's earth that should have been disallowed. There'll never ever be a goal scored from a corner or a free kick if the officials do what that referee did yesterday.
It was
And also,
MDG thought he pulled up. It was MDG pulled up for tugging.
well, for that, yeah. And also it's second. Well, no, with McCarthy's goal that is disallowed, and then later on, and I'll come back to the game. McCarthy does what I think is an incredible tackle at the edge of our box, an absolutely awesome tackle. And I didn't think he got it in him, but an awesome tackle. And referee gives a flipping free kick right at edge of box and books him for it. Madness, absolute madness. Anyway, so yes, we should have scored that goal. They got a good, their goal. We didn't close him down, that Lolos. He did a nice when they got ball back. By Santos sticking his long legs in. It did a nice edge of our box. It did a nice 1-2 with McAtee. Thank you for that, McAtee. It was much appreciated. But it got plenty of space to pull it out wide, and we didn't get a block in. And I know what you're talking about with goalkeepers, but goalkeepers that we play against, they don't seem to have pappy hands. Get it knocked away. It were a bit. It weren't great. I'm
No,
not
I
going to
have to
blame.
I have to disagree on that because the way
Disagree all you're flaming like you've
that's
said.
all
Your
right.
bit.
I'm just going to show you from the perspective of someone that's played in the net of when he's jumped out to block that.
Well, get your gloves out then.
That's
Get
all
your
right.
gloves out.
It's all right. This is actually what I'm on about with this part. I think when he's come out to block that, he wants it to anywhere but his arms because the way his arms are stretched, you can't keep the strength in him at that position. Anyone blaming Killip in that, it's very, very harsh because it has hit his arm and you can't generate the power because of where it
I'm
is.
not saying it were his fault that they
Sounded
scored.
like you were.
No, I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm saying he could have been a bit stronger. That's all I'm saying. He could have done better. I'm not saying it's all down to him, but he could have done better. Goalkeepers we seem to play against seem to do better. And then, of course, as Tracy said, Phillips tries to clear it out at touchline instead of just smacking it one, gets a deflection, and Aaron Collins shows that Charlie Carroll is still alive and living in Lancashire by making an absolute pig's ear of it. I'll tell you what, we need. He can go with rest of our players. We'll sign him in January because we've got a number of players that can do that. So then do that. Second half. Oh, we also had Max Watters. What a sprint! Gets one-on-one with goalkeeper. Not easy for him, but one-on-one with goalkeeper. Goalkeeper manages to get a block in, like a goalkeeper does, gets a block in. So
Completely different circumstances, but okay.
He could have gone anywhere off Santos, couldn't he? Off their defenders, could have gone anywhere.
It could have well. So that were a shame. And then it says second half, great. A great shot by Luca. Goalkeeper going nowhere near it. It post and come out. You've said Russell skies it. God knows where that were going. I don't understand if he's leaning back or whatever. I think it's still on M62 coming back to Barnsley because he didn't have puts. I mean, I have said it. In fairness to John Russell, I have said it past. Stop tippy tapping it and clipping it and give pass backs. Smack it one. Give it some leather. And he gave it some leather. Only trouble is leather were somewhere above stands. I don't know. So that were it's on way to Mars, I think. Well, but at least I said leather it, and he leathered it, which, John's not always done that. So, I'll give him that.
All I'm taking from that is you don't know what you're on about because you've told him to lever it, and where's that
I'm
gone?
not, I'm not saying I do. Not saying I know. I'm not saying I know everything about everything. Know a bit more about goalkeepers than you, by the sounds of it. But anyway, we're all different. You even wear a goalkeeper type top and all with pink.
So Luce,
Mate,
it's my t-shirt after the cat.
you need to leave pink to Alan. It suits Alan better. Leave it to Al. I
Hey,
don't know.
I'm not taking this off. Won yesterday. Kate's Christmas present, home shirt. I'm
You
sleeping
still
in it. I'm not taking it off.
Alan, I
No,
won't get a single shirt this season. Now I've got 2 out of 3.
I know. And then, of course, the equaliser. It's a lovely, lovely ball, a long flow from MDG to Humphreys, who does a delightful little clip back, little layoff to Phillips, who does what he does best, a lovely little dink over their last defender. On to DKD, I'm going to talk all in flipping mnemonic, all in little, 3 letters in the mind, all that. So MDG to SH onto AP, and then a little dink over to DKD. Oh, I'm thinking control it. And I'm thinking, oh, he should have smacked it one, and he didn't. But he pulled it back, and he did what he does. Pulls it back, and
When you brought him off earlier, you were saying earlier.
well, what I was saying earlier is that I was watching it with my niece Beckett, and I'm shouting at telly. There's 10 minutes left. He's hardly done out all match. Get a striker on to play alongside Humphreys. Get somebody on there. No, I'm taking such as Watters up. Get Cozzy on. At least put Santos under some pressure. I'm saying DKD needs to come off. 15 seconds later, what do I say then? Never doubted him. Never doubted him once. He's a star.
Famous last words, eh? Eat your words, Mr. Simcox.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I watch it on Sunday, I'm going to call Altstrike. Every time they get ball, I'm going to say, oh, he'll miss that. He's going to miss. I'll get us 10 goals. I'll sort it out. Leave it with me. So that were a lovely dink by Adam, and he finished it really well. And Alan's described the winning goal.
The bish bash bosh one.
89 minutes. 89 minutes. Kelechi looks up, and he's not just played it out wide. He's literally slide ruled it between 2 defenders. And thank God there's no defender tracking O'Keefe, so that he hasn't got anybody to kick it against. But he took it and he pulled it back. He didn't just sort of smack it, hit it across, or try to clip it, and goalkeeper said, "Thank you very much, I'll have that." He pulled it back like a quality pullback. And another dink from Phillips clipped it into the far post, and we're there. And then referee put 6 minutes added time because, I don't know, did somebody have to tie the shoelace or something? Because I didn't see anybody come on. God only knows why there were 6 minutes added time. But funnily enough, I weren't with my grandson Noah. He'd spent first half with me, but he'd gone to his other granddad's for second half. I got a phone call in added time, just as added time, and he kept on phone, the little Noah, shouting all the way for 6 minutes, and then final whistle goes, "What do I hear down here? Have it." So what do you want? What can you ask? Bish, bash, bosh. Got what we deserved. Absolutely got what we deserved. And I'll tell you this.
And a big 3 points, what we're in need of.
Dion Charles is the new tumble-down Ted. I spoke to Chris Dawson on the way end, and I said, well, little lads asked him, who's your tumble-down Ted? And he said, oh, we haven't got one. I'm saying, you've got Dion Charles. What are you talking about?
He got booked, didn't he, for a simulation?
And Darnie went like a good one. And referee finally got something right and booked him for it because he went down like he'd been shot. So, Chris Dawson, he's your tumble-down Ted.
There we go. Tracy, one thing sort of, as sort of everyone there has summarised the game and gone through, you look at the shot from Luke at the post, John Russell with a nice cut back, what was going through one-on-one. I did a little bit of looking earlier and a little bit of research, which might come as a surprise to a lot of you watching, but we have had the second most amount of shots this season with 286, only behind Stockport about 290. Stockport, 4th or 5th in terms of goals scored this season as well. I think Wickham are well out top. They've scored 45 from 210. But I think we sit down in 10th with 30 goals scored this season. 30 goals from 286 attempts is not a very good conversion rate. And sort of as you look at it, it's
Get Devante back.
it's one of it's it's one of those
Hey,
things that
on loan, January, let's do it.
maybe so.
No.
It's one of those things. As I look at it, do you think it's a case of? I mean, it can be that we are shooting from anywhere, but to me, we are creating them opportunities. It's just not falling right at the minute, and we're just missing that clinical edge that we've had in, like we had last season. Of Devante was on what 18 goals by this point last season.
Well, we went through that run, didn't we, where we were out shooting teams at home particularly. But it's shots on target, isn't it? That's the thing. It's shots, but it's then shots on target. We have silly amounts of shots, but we don't ever trouble the goalkeeper. We looked a little bit more settled yesterday, I suppose, in front of goal, apart from John Russell. But we were all screaming, weren't we? Like, who's the attacking coach? Who's doing this? What's Johnston doing? What's Devere doing? What's whatever? Yeah, I mean, we all, I don't think any of us are going to deny that come January's shopping list in the sales, we would love a centre forward. And I know I'm not a fan of anyone coming back, and I won't want Devante to go back, but you do almost want a Johnny on the spot centre forward who can just finish. Because we seem to be able to create chances, and I don't think in Waters, Humphreys or DKD, I still don't think we've seen the best of DKD, because I still don't think we're playing in the right position. But we don't have a natural. We don't have a 20-goal striker in any of them. We might get 20 between them if we're lucky, but we just don't have a natural striker. And I think if we do, and I know everyone's looking for it because that's what everyone wants. And they've got Dion Charles, who is that sort of a player and can't go in the team. But that's sort of, like I said. But yeah, it is someone like that who's just gonna, the traditional, the Alfie May, the Clark Harris, the League One centre forward who's going to get you 20 goals a season. But yeah, we are missing that player. We've been missing him from the start, but definitely now, I think, because if we can get that player, I far from think we're a great side, because I don't think we're a great side, and I still think we're heavily depleted. But in the league that we're in, if we can get a centre forward that can finish, we still might just sneak into that top six.
Is it a case of, because as Tracy said there, it does seem like when you look at that, the second most amount of shots in terms of volume were well up there. I think shots on target, it might be fifth or sixth. So we are getting the shots on target, we're just not scoring. Is it a case of, do we need that? But because we also know defensively we've had those frailties, I think it's almost the two things are outweighing each other. We're not being clinical, and we're also leaking goals. You look at the goal against Bolton scored, it just felt so avoidable, which it felt a lot of goals last season felt so avoidable to that point, sort of the second half of last season, where we knew we had to score two to win a game. I think so far this season we've kept 4 clean sheets in all competitions. That's including clean sheet against Sheffield United in the Cup, as well as I think one of JPT games as well. So 4 clean sheets is not great, which means you're going to have to score 2 minimum to get a result, and it's them two things aren't working together at the minute, which we've seen of that recent run.
It's not, Josh, is it? If you look at what we played so far, is it 22 games, 11 home, 11 away? Away, we're getting 2 points per game. At home, we're only getting 1 point a game. There's a big difference, isn't there, in what we're accruing on 33 points. And yeah, you're right. Defensively, when we're missing Earl and Roberts, there's a big hole there, isn't there? But we've only got Phillips now on 6 goals, who's leading scorer. If you want to be pushing to get up into top 6 or even automatic promotion, a striker or a player in your side should now be in double figures. And it's not happening, is it? So January is a big window for us, and we've got to get somebody in who can put the ball in the back of the net. Because I think we've got the players who can create. It's just the finishing what's letting us down.
Yeah, and it does feel like that. I mean, you can look at it one way if we can try and just outscore teams. If we know we're going to concede 1, we could go, and this would be the perfect segue to talk about the next part of Peterborough. They are a side that are just trying to outscore teams, and they're sat down in 17th. They are the second top goal scorers in the league with 40 goals. Only Wickham have scored more, but it might be 38, but they've conceded 40. So they are they've got the second worst defense, only worse than Crawley, I think. And they've got the second best attack, Shrewsbury, sorry, and they've got the second best attack with Poku, as you mentioned, they're already on double figures this season, and it's not just goal scoring from him because he's on not only got 10, but that's a quarter of their goals so far this season almost. So there is a balance within that, which obviously Peterborough are struggling with down in 17th.
We most certainly are. It's vital into it. I mean, I don't think when you're talking about 10 goal strikers, 20 goal strikers, whatever, it's not looking like it's going to be Sam Cosgrove because for whatever reason they don't seem to trust him because he's not even putting him on pitch. He's not getting anywhere near the pitch, and he's trying every combination, excluding Sam Cosgrove. So for me, if he thinks that much or that little about him, then maybe for Sam's benefit, I don't know about for ours, because his ups and downs. If he plays like he played against Bolton in the playoff second leg last season, he were outstanding. Sell him, let him go, sell him. If you're not going to play him, it's just making up numbers. Not even doing that. He's at subs bench, but not getting up. Heck, Al. Arshal.
God,
Harsh.
you know what that means, Al?
Bit
Stay.
harsh. Flipping heck, Al. Bit harsh. Flipping heck. I'm not saying he shouldn't play him. I'm saying he's not playing him. Flipping heck, Alan. So, yeah, for his benefit, we need to get somebody that's going to play. I'm hoping that Max Watkins is going to come good, but we're not seeing him playing at the same time as Stephen Humphries or any of them. He seems fixed on no matter what. And I know he scored after I made my mouth. DKD is going to play up there no matter what. He's rarely coming off and playing what I would have considered two strikers. Whether it were Cosgrove and Watters or Cosgrove and Humphries, Humphries and Watters. Those combinations. Because for me, DKD is better playing just behind two strikers. So, I want us to sign a striker that's going to put the ball in the net. I know everybody else does. But if we're just going to swap him for Humphries or just going to swap him for Watters, there isn't that much point. It's got to be to enhance it and play with them. It's that that bothers me really. Defensively, not we're struggling, aren't we? We've been struggling defensively, and it showed again both. I mean, I do remember the Sky commentators irritated the hell out of me. They kept saying that Killip looked suspect on every cross, every corner, everything. And I think they were a bit harsh.
Dominated a bit more than Leighton Orient. At least he came out and played things.
I'm not saying that.
Well, what I saw on TV yesterday is Pines stood with him. Pines helped him out a lot.
I thought they were a bit harsh, Al, to be honest. I think they were more than a bit harsh, Al. But I don't know if Sky can't Sky want us to lose, it seems to me. Because they were desperate for us to go into in their words, we wouldn't have done, but in their words, the bottom half of the table. Barnsley are on for going into the bottom half of the table. And, well, we stuffed Sky and all, as far as I'm concerned, because they weren't happy with us. So they don't want us to do well. It's always, Barnsley, little old Barnsley and what have you, so they can get knotted and all. So, sorry, Al, I could have said a lot worse, Al. What I will say, because I haven't said it yet, about Bolton, I thought, they have got some good. Those two wing backs, Sean and Randall Williams, I think they're good wing backs. I thought they both did well, and Williams played at right wing back, and he's left-footed. So I think he's a right player. He's like lightning, and Sean were possibly their man at match. So not too bad. And Big Daft Santos at back, I thought he looked pretty dominating, really.
They were one-dimensional, though. They made it really clear early on they were going to try and hit us over at top and into gaps, which we know a number of teams have tried to do, just hit us over at back. And I think it was successful, but then when it didn't work, they didn't really offer anything else.
Well, it's interesting because
Danny Bejo on top bench for him as well.
He might be injured, mightn't he? I don't know.
I assumed he were because he started even, hadn't he, some game?
Yes. I mean, it did surprise me when I was talking to Chris Dawson from their Fan Zone podcast. He was saying, don't expect it to be like it was the last couple of seasons where the intricate passing and what have you. Sheehan's not there, Dempsey's not there. Where what was the other one? Paris, what's it?
Paris Ngoma.
He said that there's none of this quick passing. We're being a lot more direct. We're trying to lob it over defenders and run onto it. I said, well, keep doing that then, because Donovan Pines will be all right with that. Just keep lobbing it forward then. So he said, don't. So he said that we're going to be a lot more direct, and I think you were absolutely right. They were a lot more direct.
So
7 spots better than what I expected.
It is
up to 80 minutes yesterday. I mean, we're pushing again now, aren't we? So.
Well,
it's nice to see.
We're still a fair way away from ones higher up than sort of that's 5th and 6th, but there's others are sort of starting to have been pulling.
We're in touch. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're sort of playing for the last 2 places now in playoffs, just because that gap to Huddersfield's 9 points, and I think they've got a game in hand.
Some have got 2 in hand, haven't they?
Yeah, Birmingham have got 2 in hand over us, which that doesn't matter at all, because they're already 15 points clear of us, but Wickham still got a game in hand. We played same amount of games to Wrexham, but still 12 points behind them. Huddersfield, 9 points behind, game in hand on us. Stockport are probably the ones, just based on the fact that Louis Barry's also going back in January, and he's 14 goals this season. So he's almost half of their goals have come via Louis Barry, scored 34. So near enough, almost half their goals have come through him. So I can't see them sustaining it if he goes. So there's a bit of a chance there, I suppose, but we'll see. Other news, just before I get on to Peterborough, is Conor Hourihane hung up his boots just before Christmas, Tracy, which sparked a little bit of outrage, I must say, online, and a little bit is putting it lightly, of fans saying they were hoodwinked into buying season tickets because of Conor Hourihane, which I must say, if you bought a season ticket based off the fact of seeing a 33-year-old midfielder play, then you've got far much more disposable income than I have, because that is not what I'd have spent over £300-400 on to watch. But I understand people's frustration, the fact that it was announced as a player signing, and we knew usually a player coach from the get-go, but has he played 20 minutes this season against Mansfield in that first game when he came on? I can't remember him featuring any more other than that, but that is just from the top of my head, which I probably would have expected him to play a little bit more, or sort of as and when needed, but when we have had injuries in that position, it's not been turned to at all, or really been on the bench either, so not really a surprise.
I think there's 2 schools of thought. There's the first school of thought where, it was the return of the great Conor Hourihane, and well, now how outstanding he was is when he played for us in the first sort of phase of his career, and he was on the way up, and he was one of the best midfielders probably a lot of the current fans have seen. But yeah, I've been seeing him last year twice for Derby. He was aging, and and he'd not made any qualms about the fact that he wanted to go into coaching, and I think we offered him the perfect opportunity, because I think he had the playing option of if he wanted to go to Wrexham, from what I understand, and he had the coaching purely option if maybe Villa were offering him something. Again, from what I read, I don't know if it's true, and I guess we offered him the perfect scenario. But yeah, from what I've read in his interviews, he basically said that he really got hooked into the coaching, and then I think the big turning point was when Dean White had left, which was pretty early on, which then Darrell Clark asked him to take on more of the coaching, and he said he found it too hard to switch, and going back and trying to then play in the middle of the pitch, and he felt some of the players couldn't maybe dish out the bollockings he deserved, really. And he just, so I mean, we've got an abundance of centre midfielders. When we've been playing poorly, I suppose it's been easy to say, why haven't we put Hourihane on, why haven't we done this, why haven't we done this? But would he have been ready for that? I doubt it. I guess if he would have been, he would have stepped up. You would imagine he would have said, look, I'm here. And he hasn't. So I just think it is, I guess what I would say is, and this is just me, he's probably one of the most expensive coaches, I guess. I would imagine that he came on a semi-player's wage, and I would imagine that he'll be on quite a fair. And I don't know if that's been taken into consideration, because as a player, generally, you earn a lot more than a coach, I would say. So I don't know if that's been tweaked or whatever, because he hasn't really earned his money as a player. But, like we said about the set piece yesterday, about 10 minutes before that, we had a free kick, and and it were awful. And I made a comment amongst the people I was saying, I mean, only I supposed to be the set piece course. Well, that were dire. And then 10 minutes later, I did an Andy, and he set up that. If it was him, he set up what was probably one of the best free kicks we've scored all season. So, yeah, I mean, good luck to him. And he's not qualified. He's learning his trade. You know, we've got him, and if that, you know, a lot of people saying he's the future manager, is this, is that, well, it remains. But I don't think we were hoodwinked, as you said. If you bought a season ticket based on the fact that you were going to just purely watch Conor Hourihane, well, I think you were a bit naive, to be honest. It's like saying you were going to watch a season of Mark Roberts. It were inevitable he were going to get injured at some point, having seen his Birmingham career. So I just think, yeah, it would have been nice for me to see a bit more of him, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it is one of them, especially when you sort of see his age. And we had offering that thing. Another thing that sort of a lot of people have been saying with this is too many coaches spoil the broth, and that's a very easy assumption to come to when you look at the previous form of the last few weeks. But from Blackpool onwards, when it was fine, the amount of coaches weren't a problem. I think it was just people trying to grasp onto things of different coaches saying different things. But to me, the job of the head coach of Darryl Clark is to get all of Devaney, John Stead, Connor, and Darryl Clark himself all aligned on what the messaging should be to players, and that should be concurrent throughout. The reason why they have shape training and formation training on Fridays before games is to iron those kind of things out.
It's all part and parcel of getting a good setup into it for all of it pitch, so I have no problem with it. I mean, what I was surprised with that he was announced as assistant coach. We aren't getting his full qualifications to Darryl Clark, and Darryl thinks a lot of him. One thing I will say is my Match Tactics T-shirt has now got to be binned again, because it's a T-shirt what says Match Tactics, arrow, kick off, pass to Hourihane. Did he score? Yes, kick off. Did he score? No, pass to Hourihane. So my T-shirt is now defunct. It is.
Get your money back, Al. Get your money.
It is, well.
Put some masking tape over it and put Kelechi.
Here we go. Get ready. I don't know if you can see it.
Or Phillips.
No.
We have to archive a shirt.
It's all right. Just put some masking tape over it and put Kelechi there instead.
That's I never thought of that.
There you go.
There you go, innit?
There you go. Fixed it. Andy, how do you feel about it all of Hourihane hanging up his boots, which I think, looking back now, it was inevitable when he literally he's not really played for us this season. He scored in pre-season, and that was more or less about it. And like I said, Mansfield for the last 20 minutes, where, being honest, he's one of my favourite players, probably the best player I've seen in a Barnsley shirt in my lifetime, maybe barring Adam Hamill, and he didn't move out of centre circle.
They were rubbish for 20 minutes. He did right. He came, I mean, our Craig himself said, we've been lied to. We've been lied to. You know, when coming back, he played lots of games for Derby last year when they went up and what have you. I don't think that. When you saw the players that we've got, you know, we got in the position that he plays, we've got Luke O'Connell there mainly. And then we'd also got Matty Craig, whether he'll stay or not as debatable. I think possibly not. But then we got Kelechi as well. So I think, if I'm honest, I only assumed, and we got
Cosgrove's contract's been extended.
There you go. What can you say? You heard it here first in January.
Oh God, that means he's going.
That's
Cosgrove gone.
Death.
First of January, gone.
Get kitchen shirt back up, Al. Flipping heck. Yeah, I only ever thought, to be honest, that he was going to play in an emergency, that he was going to be mainly a coach. It was nice. I thought it was nice to come back. Him and Mark Roberts, you know, it's that sort of pulling on the heartstrings. But he got, you know, as we all remembered, many years later, you know, not in the first flush of youth, although Mark Roberts has been, I think, excellent. And people say, no, he's too slow. The hell is too slow. And he'll not do that. I think, like Tracy, you know, I think an injury somewhere on the line were inevitable. But we got a backup with Donovan Pines. I mean, what we didn't expect is Earl to get injured and all at the same time. So that's a bit harsh. But Conor, I didn't think we were particularly lied to. Player coach, I thought it were only going to be ever going to be in an emergency. And I certainly think the last 20 minutes against Mansfield sealed that it were only going to be an emergency because, he's got it here, hasn't he? He's got it here, but yeah, his legs, and he said, I think his legs have, says me, his legs have gone.
That's Andy. My legs have definitely gone.
Our legs have gone, Al. Our legs have gone. So I just think it is a bit of a surprise, if I'm honest, after playing so many games last season, that but he knows it, he knows his own body and what he can do and what he couldn't do. And I think he's made for himself and for club as well, but for himself he's made a sensible decision because nobody wants to see somebody being a passenger that has been an outstanding player for us. But it's a pity it's not like American football where he can come on to take corners and free kicks and then go back off. That'd be the ideal thing, wouldn't it? Sneak him on. Get him with Connell's number, get him a 48 Connell shirt, sneak on, take free kicks, take corners, and then just sidle off. That'd have been ideal. But I know Craig's upset about it and all that, and I understand why, and I think it's fair for all fans that thought that, but. I didn't get my season ticket on basis of him coming back.
We can remember his last goal in Championship for us, can't we?
Remember his last goal against Derby, pre-season friendly. I thought he's back, and then he weren't. He's back, and then he played against Mansfield, and he weren't back.
Tracy, do you think he was signed to play coach? Sort of, I can't remember because we'd not signed Kelechi at that time because it was quite early on in the window that Conor did come out.
Don't think we signed Craig, had we then either?
No, so it seems like I'm just trying to work out sort of the pragmatic approach in which the club were taken. He was there for emergency if needed, but then when we sort of saw Matty Craig's there, which he's all right, he can do a job. We've got Luca, we've got Phillips there, we've got John Russell. And then once Kelechi had settled in, do you reckon Kelechi settling in and then sort of established himself in the first team almost made the decision for Conor of being, we've now got three players who can play in that older midfielder role? Because I don't think he'd play on either left or right hand side because you've got to be a bit more mobile for that. Do you think that sort of cemented it of there's three players now that are on the way up in their careers, can move a little bit more and they can just do their job a little bit better?
Yeah, I think definitely. And you see him talking to Connell a lot, and I know Connell's had the best start to a season. But he just tends, whenever there's a break in play, he's always over speaking to Connell, etc. And I think he definitely sees himself as coach in that area. And yeah, I mean, when Kelechi came, Darryl Clark didn't make any qualms about saying he was miles off it. Like, he'd arrived, he was so unfit, and he was miles off it, and he was training on his own and did it. And he gradually sort of brought him into the team. And yeah, I think there's no doubt he is a talented player. And I think the more he's brought on and the more he plays, the better he's getting and the influence he's having on the game. But yeah, you think Connell he's not been well, and I thought he played all right yesterday. And again, when he took him off, it was a bit of a but Kelechi come on now, and you've got a natural replacement who's playing probably better than Connell at the moment. But yeah, and I just think, and Matty Craig, I know he's had a bit of a rough ride, but from what we saw last season, I mean, he was very good at Doncaster, and I think, we've probably not seen the best of him, although I thought he started pretty well. But again, something doesn't seem right there, and he possibly will leave. But he's probably had luck to think, well, there's three there, and Russell can also play in that position if needs be. I think Russell's again better and more advanced, but. Yeah, and I just think he thinks, and if he is going to go into, he is obviously expected to be more coaching. I just think that's what it is, and that's what he said. My coaching demands are higher. He's going for the qualification, and I just think, yeah, that's as it is. Obviously, as a coach, he's got to put his hands up when things go right and wrong. But like you say, Darryl Clark's the ultimate head coach. That's his job title. His job's to get the best out of the other coaches as well as the team. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. I like that. Get your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Also, the Bolton game as well. How would you feel about that, as well as Conor retiring and going more into that coaching role, which it seems like he's more or less gone into already. I know at the start of the season I said I want him to do one or the other. I don't want him to do this dual role because I don't think it works. And it seems like he almost accepted that it's hard to going in the middle of pitch and tell what to do, because I was going to defer to you.
Really watched you, Josh.
Anyway,
took it on.
Yeah, what do I know? I don't know about goalkeeping either. Apparently.
What do I know about players leaving?
Now that is
Nothing,
note.
Al.
That's a
That is note. That's a firm note. Right. Looking forward then to Peterborough. So, looking at stats pack, manager Darren Ferguson, top goal scorer this season, Poku on 10, sat 17th in the league. Form in the league, 4 losses, 1 win in the last 5. Key player Poku, surprisingly, sort of been the shining light this season. Formation 4-2-3-1. Darren Ferguson maintaining that formation from last season, and key stat is Peterborough are second top scorers in the league with 38 goals, but also the second worst defence, shipping 40. So, Al, how do you feel about this one? Because Peterborough, almost one of their sides, you're always thinking they're up in the top 6. Last season, made it into the playoffs, lost to Oxford in the first round of the playoffs. It's just not gone from right this season. Normally, when they do sell and reinvest, they sort of maintain that position in the league, but it seems like it's very much fell away. And as we've said, very good going forward, but terrible defensively.
I'm surprised where they are. I mean, they're in 17th position. What Gab Sutton says we were going to be in, aren't they? So that's surprising. I think I'd got them in top 6. I thought they'd be pushing again, but they're not. I saw the highlights on the Football League show. I recorded it last night and watched it this morning, and they're terrible, really. 2 goals conceded against Mansfield from corners, and then a mix-up in defence. So I'm thinking, hey, we've got a chance here if they're like that, because we're quite good from corners. I know we ain't scored many, but we get plenty corners and set pieces. And as we're saying, Conor from free corners, free kicks, we've got a good chance on Sunday. So I'm buzzing that we can get and hopefully another victory on the road.
Yeah, and it does seem sort of weird when you look at it. They've shipped on Ronnie Edwards from last season, who sort of was one of their key players. Jack Knight as well has gone over to Hamburg, I think, into German second division. So they have lost sort of 2 of that. The 2 centre halves said last season. It seems like they've not really replaced him, but also by retaining key players like Poku, I think Ricky J. Jones is still there as well. They've got the firepower.
About 11, Ricky.
Yeah, they've got that firepower going forward. So almost seems like a very simple transfer window for them of reinvest the money defensively to replace Ronnie Edwards, and you'll be right back up there.
Yeah. The scoring goals for fun. On stuff I'd seen, Jay Jones had scored 11. Poku, I don't know if he's injured or what, but he don't seem to have played for the last few matches.
It's a shame.
Yeah, let's hope it. So, like you say, he's on 10, but they've also got Mothersill and what's the other one, Randall, on 7 goals. So they've got people that, they've got players there that are scoring, and then there's others, but there's players there that are scoring goals. But as Al says, it's since Edwards went, it's a shambles at the back. I don't know where I've seen that before, but they've not been right good at the back. In fact, they've only won 1 of the last 6 games, although they've won 3 and lost 3 of the last 6 home games. So they're not. They seem to be in a bit of a slump, and long may it continue. The only team they've beaten was Crawley. They beat Crawley 4-3. So although they scored 4, Crawley scored 3. So they've not been doing not been doing well as far as results are concerned. And Mansfield, I'm going to say Mansfield panned them 3-0, but then Orient panned us 4-0. So we'll see, won't we? But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game, a very, very interesting game. And who knows what it's going to end up. You've said it. There's only Shrewsbury conceded more goals, but there's only Wycombe scored more goals in the whole division. So that tells you a story about the good that they're doing a Kevin Keegan's Newcastle, trying to win 4-3 every game. It's or Daniel Stendhal. They mind how many we concede as long as we score 1 more. Not working out for them just yet, and let's.
We're going to score 1 more than you. Is that scenario, Andy?
That's. You didn't need to sing it to me, Al, but yeah, that's exactly it. Don't know, Al. You tell me, Al. I don't know. Darren Ferguson's not daft though, is he? He knows what he's He knows what he's doing.
I'm saying that Grant McCann will be ready himself for coming in Feb if
And
results
then
don't
he can
turn
go back
around.
to Donny. The switch
Yeah,
he can
so
down and go back
they
to
can do
Donny.
their usual switch when they're ready. Tracy, how do you feel about this one? Because as Andy said there, you look at their attack and it's firing, it's working, but defensively there's frailties. We know we can be fragile defensively sometimes. We know we can sometimes struggle scoring as well. So it's going to be interesting to see where we lie in this because when you look at like Crawley scoring 3 against them, Mansfield putting 3 by him. Granted, Peterborough digging down to 10 men in that game as well. Stockport putting 2 by him, but then Peterborough do have the ability as well to go off and put 6 past Cambridge a few weeks ago. So they can outscore you if they need to.
Yeah, I mean, where they are is a shock. I mean, yeah, they're a bit like Bolton. They've retained most of the squad. Like I say, they've only lost a couple and they've retained the manager and everything. And they've had 2 successful seasons, losing in the playoffs twice. And you're thinking they're one of the most consistent clubs in League One. And yeah, the wheels have, for whatever reason, have fallen off. I mean, the good thing I see is, number one, we're playing away. So it's always a bonus. 2 is they attack. And we tend to do better against teams that attack. So I think, and that was definitely a confidence booster yesterday. So I think we've got to go there confident. And well, it's I either see a high scoring game or 0-0 because that's how it's inevitably going to be. Because you're thinking all the stats say all this, and then it could be a 0-0 draw. But no, I think I would expect it to be open because they can certainly attack. We're shaky in defence. They're dreadful in defence. I mean, it's heading towards a high scoring game, you would think. But yeah, I think away from home, we've got to be confident because, well, look at our away form. It's fantastic.
It is tricky, isn't it, Al, when you sort of look at how strong we are away from home. But even that in the away games, you look yesterday of sort of the chances that we didn't take because we could have easily had 3 or 4 against Bolton if John Russell's a little bit more composed, if Wass is able to just slot it by the keeper at 1-on-1. The referee doesn't rule out that McCarthy goal. Yeah, granted, Bolton probably should have scored with Aaron Collins, but even then, when you look at Barnsley play, it could have been 4-5-2 at that point.
Could have been. Gent had a decent shot, what keeper saved, and Russell had one in first 10 minutes. What keeper put over crossbar. So, you know, we are pushing, and I think we are more confident away from home than we are at Oakwell, and I can't put my finger on why that is. We play with more fluidity. We create more chances. I mean, I know other week in Cup we created that many chances, but didn't get any goals, did we, in FA Cup? But so we are creating. It's just the final touch, the final finish, and the end product. If we get the end product right, I think we can go on to bigger things. So hopefully it starts on Sunday. And personally, I can't see us having much of a problem against a Peterborough side because I think they've got a defender. I'm not saying the word. Oh, God, it's not death. And they've got a defender out, haven't they? He got sent off, haven't they? So they're missing a central defender. What's his name? Never got sent off. So they're going to be weak at back.
Oh, that's 5-1 Peterborough. Cheers for that, Al.
Oh, dear God. I'll tell you one thing's for certain.
Oh, I'm not an ace here. Don't start on me, lads.
I'll tell you one thing's for certain. On the pitch on Sunday, Fred Carno and Charlie Caroli are going to be on pitch. There's going to be 2 clowns on pitch. Not sure which team they're going to be playing for yet. Could be either team, and we'll see, won't we? Because they're more than capable of playing in their defence, and they're sometimes more than capable of playing in our defence, them two. So we'll see, won't we? Let's hope they're in the blue of Peterborough instead of the red or the white or wherever of Barnsley. Presumably white. I don't know.
Maybe we'll go with nice pink. A nice shade of pink. A good nice down there.
If we're going pink, it'll be in our team then.
Nothing in pink. Come on.
Definitely be us then.
Would you a win? Would you a win in that pink shirt? I think. Would you a win? Lovely way to round off the year. A win in that pink shirt away from home. There'll be something poetic about it.
End the year on a pink. Is that it?
Exactly. And then we can roll into Wrexham, beat them because they're not very good.
In fact, in our days, you used to be green and pink and didn't it, and it's sporting That's
Did.
the ones.
Green and pink.
No idea what you're talking about. Tracy, predictions. What do you reckon then to Sunday's game?
Well, I just get this thing though, because we were like, everyone was so negative after Leighton Orient, and then we go and do that. Now we're all like,
Positive?
and top of it, oh, we're going to do this, and then you think,
Being a football fan, Tracy, it's what it's all about.
I know. I was, I have to say, I don't know the chap, but I was sat in front of this guy yesterday who was the most negative Barnsley fan I've ever heard in my life. To the point when we scored the winner, I think he was disappointed that we'd actually scored because he was just like, well, we're rubbish.
I like that.
Rick Craig.
On Twitter, somebody saying we're still rubbish.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Gonna die on the sword still. He's been fickle.
Yeah, it was like I can't believe we won. Right, I'm gonna go 3-2 win.
Oh,
goal fest.
Goals galore.
Well, I'm going same as Mansour. What's behind me on Philip's shirt? I'm going 3-0 to Town.
It's going to be easy then, Al, isn't it?
You are aware that these are second top scorers in league,
and we'd love to concede.
Look, I'm sorry, if they can't score against Mansfield, what chance have they going to score against us?
I like that. That's to be fair. They also didn't score against Burton. No, fair enough. Maybe you'll stand corrected there, Al. Andy?
Well, they aren't quite scored 2 goals a game, have they, in the league this year?
1.9 million.
But they've conceded exactly 2 goals a game so far. It's inevitable, isn't it? It's written in the stars. Caroli is going to be their replacement centre to Barnsley. It's in the stars.
He's gone for an Andy special. Who'd have thought it?
Well, it is my name, Al.
Yesterday. He didn't go for it yesterday.
It's my name, Al. It wouldn't be an Andy special if I didn't say it. If I kept going 1-0, it'd no longer be Andy special, would it?
He's nearly got to set a year out with an Andy special, hasn't he?
It's my name, Al. It's my flipping name.
I might start banning you from saying 2-1.
Please, you then.
He's got a lot of followers who goes 2-1. Don't you know?
Yeah, I know. What do I reckon? You know what? I'm gonna go 4-2 to us. I'm gonna go with you, Tracy, of that 3-2. I don't think no keeper clean sheet.
He's going for an England victory in '66 then after additional time, 4-2, Andy.
I think it's all over, Al.
It is now.
I'm glad we've only gone back 50 or 60 years then. So last time a 4-2 ever happened. Yeah, I'm going to go 4-2. Right, get your predictions down in the comments below. Andy, I think we're still fairly early, aren't we, in the second phase of the competition. So even if you've not predicted before, you've still got a decent chance because there's all the games left for the rest of the season to predict in the second half. So there's a full league table for people that take part throughout the season, and then there's also a little mini league for the second half of the season as well. So even if you've missed the first 2 games, I think the first game of it Bristol Rovers, or that was the last game of
the last one.
So the first game was after Bristol Rovers. So you're only 4 or 5 games behind them, something like that. If you've not predicted since then,
because although I've not put the tables up yet, I've got to collate them all yet. It's fair to say there weren't that many people that reckoned Leighton Orient were going to beat us.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Put it on this show on the Red Lover on YouTube and not on our group.
Oh, bit of admin. Bit of admin.
Did you say? Say that again, Al.
Bit of admin. I'll sick of people posting in group.
Put it on our show on YouTube, not on the group.
Al's doing some admin. He's putting his foot down. He don't want people.
Want me to do, Al?
New Year resolution.
Andy's actually said that. He said, "Don't." He put it on the group, didn't you? Don't predict on the group.
Oh no! Don't
well, they're not clear.
I see what you mean, Al.
You understand what I'm saying, Andy? Now
I'm thinking you're telling me where you want me to
put
put
your
the league tables. Right? No. If you're going to predict, unless you can't, because there has been over the season a couple of people who haven't, for whatever reason, haven't been able to put comments on the show. Please try and comment on the YouTube itself, because all that happens is you put it elsewhere, then I've got to try and copy it across, and I get what's the word I'm looking for? Fed up.
And at his age, it's difficult.
You'd know all about that, Al.
Well, I'm older than you.
4 months. Work it, Al.
Nice to see Al putting his admin hat on there for a minute, and also putting his foot down with participants.
Putting his foot
Hey,
down with a
look.
firm hand.
Excuse me, I'm the red all over elder, so don't criticise. Cheers.
Oh, you're the one that has to do these kind of things, Al. It's nice to see. Right, we'll be back on Sunday, I reckon, or Monday, with his reaction to the Peterborough game, and also previewing Wrexham. These games going thick and fast over this festive period, so we're back
It is.
with with a Peterborough reaction and a Wrexham preview.
USA versus USA on boxing on New Year's Day, is it?
Hey,
USA, the American owners versus our Dominic Pines and Selena.
Oh,
Dominic Pines got Donovan.
Donovan. All right.
My work is done, Will. I've got him saying it all the time now. My work is done. Nice one, Al.
Look,
We've
I
got-
blame this. I
blame that and all, Al.
We've got DKK playing up front.
Oh, I've had enough. Stop it.
MDG at back.
We've
Dominic.
got DGM and anyone but Kelechi McCarthy that plays in middle.
I blame it down to my dyslexia.
Yeah, I don't know.
That whiskey, more
I'm
like
blaming whiskey, Alan. That's what I'm blaming.
We'll be back on a Sunday or Monday with our reaction to Sunday's game against Peterborough and previewing Wrexham. We'll see you there. You
It won't be the same. Cheers.